Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule well. And salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing his word and sincerity and truth across the four corners of the earth. And I just wanted to come back, with another quick lesson about basically America, losing its power among the nations, man. Right? When you look at all these sanctions that America has been putting on the other nations, because sanctions are, America's way of, disciplining nations or isolating them from, various things. All right, because it's various, different type of sanctions. You got diplomatic, economic, military, environmental, all right, sport, all right. But all these things are, what America used. Used to use to isolate these nations and continue to have power and dominion over them through these sanctions. Because once sanctions was put on a certain nation, the other nations wouldn't deal with them. But this day and age, these nations, even America's allies, are ignoring the sanctions. When you look at Great Britain, and Russia, they dealing as far as the oil. Great Britain is supposed to be America's so-called ally. So why would they break, the sanction? Because the respect for America is dwindling away. Nobody cares about what America says anymore. Just like over there in China, they're over there selling oil to North Korea. Okay, China is a so-called ally. You know what I mean? But they breaking the sanctions, man. And you got America, all in their media talking about, who does China think they is to, deal as far as the fuel and the oil with North Korea. That shows you the pride of the so-called white man. He think all the nations is supposed to eat out his palm forever. But through prophecy, we know that the nations is gonna end up turning on the so-called white man. So these sanctions, which was a very powerful, let's say, law that America could write internationally, don't hold no weight no more. This place America, it doesn't garner the same respect that it used to, because once again, the nations used to be scared of America. But now they got all the weaponry. They have a vast amount of weapons in their artillery, just like America. So it's no reason to fear America no more. And it's all gonna bottleneck, and eventually World War III is gonna start, because the so-called American white man, he not just gonna let the power of the world, fall out fall between the cracks of his hands without a fight. But grab Obadiah, because you're starting to see this play out, man. It's Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Talking about a so-called white man, an American white man. Thou art greatly despised, even by their own allies, man. If you make, let's say you got, let's say just a friend or something, or a comrade, and y'all got a truce, against you and this, man, you got a truce against somebody else, and he breaks the truce and goes over there, that's a lack of respect for you, man. He obviously has a problem with you, and that's what these, even America's allies are doing, man. Why should we, why should we not make money, Because the nations is greedy. Why should we not make money because you said so? Why should we not do this because you said so? So, the scriptures refers to America as, the hammer of the earth, It's losing its power, man. Nobody gives a fuck about American guidelines or rules anymore as it pertains to, in an international sense, man. Says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? And that's the pride of the so-called white man. Because he think these nations is supposed to be under his thumb forever, man. If I have everything you have, and more, because some of these nations are surpassing America in a lot of things, why would you be my boss? That's how these nations are starting to feel. You're not, as far as your weaponry and your technology, you're not more advanced than us anymore. Which Russia has always been, more advanced than America. But speaking on these other nations, right? You're not as advanced as us anymore. You know, we basically neck and neck, so we can, you know, why should we have this immense amount of respect for you when we feel like we on your level? All right, but the pride of the so-called white man heart is deceiving him, because he sees that as well, but he still thinks that you know, these nations are gonna bow to him for some reason, man. All right, and he says, "Who shall bring me to the ground, man?" Because you know, you see you know, King Jong over there with his weapons, and you know, all these various other nations that have nuclear capability at this point. And the so-called white man still proud. He's still putting sanctions on motherfuckers and shit. You know what I mean? He's still, you know, walking around thinking he can tell the whole world what to do, man. All right, but they're not having it no more, man. Okay. I'm gonna jump to 7. It says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee." And you're seeing that through, let's say, for lack of a better word, America's allies disobeying the sanctions, man. All right, they turning on America, man. It's plain to see, right, you know, you know, on all these media outlets and all these things. It's plain to see, man. The America's allies is turning on them, and starting with the sanctions, man. All right, so what you think America gonna do to its allies? They're gonna try to cut them off, like. I seen a video where I posted a video of, you know, RT News when the woman reporter basically said, well, China needs us to trade, so we'll just stop trading with China. You know what I mean? That's gonna piss China off even more. Like, you know what? We just gonna gain. That's how it's gonna, you know, we'll have a snowball effect into everybody shooting missiles on this place. Because America's gonna start trying to regain power, and it's gonna start pissing every other nation off, man. You know what I mean? More than they're already pissed off, man. All right. So America is clearly losing its allies, man. All right, it's starting what you would call a proxy war, man. All right, starting with what you would call a proxy war. All right, but it's gonna, you know, get physical, man. All right, it says, "and prevailed against thee." All right, because, you know, America's allies, okay, those that are confederate with them, will eventually prevail against them. You know, now in their eyes, they're gonna be the next power to come up, you know, and rule in the world. All right, but the nation of Israel, okay, the true nation of Israel, all right, are the ones who are going to take the power sheet, you know, for eternity, all right, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, all right. It says, "They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, there is none understanding in him," man. All right, so all the nations that was in bed with America, all right, that America may have helped or vice versa, you know what I mean? They turning on them, man. America doesn't, you know, go under that respect anymore, man. You know, it's a lot, you know, for a quick scripture and close out. This is Isaiah 14:10. "All they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?" And this is a future prophecy, man. But you can see that mind state already bubbling in these nations' minds, man. You know what I mean? This is a prophecy of when Esau is completely taken down. But even though he's not all the way taken down yet, the nations is starting to think like this. Like, you know, are you basically like us now? You know what I mean? It's not the 1950s no more, where the so-called white man was basically, you know what I mean, a poster child for, you know, everything that was synonymous with being, I guess you would say, a good guy or a great guy. All right, everybody hates this dude now. All right. It says thy pomp, all right, pomp means pride, all right, like how somebody say pompous, all right. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations, okay? And you can see, like, that the sanctions is one way that America weaken the nations, all right? We all know that they bomb everybody, you know what I mean? But, you know, when you put sanctions on a nation and you kind of block their trade, that's weakening it, all right? So who else could this be talking about? Who's Lucifer, man? All right, the so-called white man. All right, he's about to get knocked out of his power seat by Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. All right, and all these sanctions being ignored. All right, by not only the countries that they've been put on, but by Americans, the American allies. All right, is a clear indicator, all right, that this man is about to start to fall. All right, because the nations are sick of American policy, and all of these things, man. All right. So I hope that video was edifying. All right, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Shah. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this word and sincerity and truth across the four corners of the earth. Shalom.